Welcome to the Fantasy Football News. I am your host, Eric, and we have a stellar show for you this week, as we do every week, in my humble opinion. Week 2 saw the injuries piling up for several teams across both leagues, with a few having season-altering consequences. More on that in our matchups segment, which will be up next. First, though, Columbia River Fantasy Football League Commissioners Eric and Mike had a closed-door meeting this past week, and it has been decided that the Week 3 weekly contest will be rescheduled to Week 9. The contest was originally going to be Century Week, with the team scoring closest to 100 being the winner. However, due to the scoring differences in Columbia River Fantasy Football, it seems that 100 is too low of a target to aim for. The commissioner's hope is that by Week 9 we will have a wealth of scoring data available, and we can decide then on a more averaged target score for what will be renamed Bullseye Week. Week 3's contest will now be Dan Marino Week, with the starting quarterback with the most passing yards winning it for their team. With that, on to the news. First up this week, the Columbia River League. Speaking of weekly contests, the weekly contest this week in Columbia River was Hero to Zero, with Rebel Scum owner Eric taking home the prize after dropping 13.65 points from his Week 1 performance. Only two other teams remained in contention after Sunday night. Killa MC had a chance to win it, but needed Carolina QB Bryce Young to stay under 17.65 points. Stars and Stripes and Corey Cash also were in long shot contention. The six other teams in the league outscored their Week 1 efforts to take themselves out of contention. This is Eric's second win in a row in Columbia River, and so that will trigger the commissioner's bounty. I will personally add $10 to the weekly contest pot to the team that ends my winning streak. This is in addition to any other prizes and does not come out of league dues. As mentioned just moments ago, the Week 3 contest in Columbia River will be Dan Marino Week, with the starting quarterback with the most passing yards winning it. On to our matchups. We saw 6 teams move to 1-1 this week, as well as 2 teams going to 2-0, and the remaining 2 moving to 0-2. Our first matchup this week, Mike's Game of the Week. Mike's Game. It's Mike's Game. Mike's Game of the Week. It's Mike's Game. Mike's Game. Mike's Game of the Week. Mike's Game of the Week. Mike's Game. Mike's Game of the Week. It's Mike's Game. Mike's Game of the Week. It's Mike's Game of the Week. Mike's Game of the Week. It's Mike's Game. It's Mike's Game. Mike's Game of the Week. It's Mike's Game. Mike's Game of the Week. It's Mike's Game. Mike's Game. Game of the Week. It's Mike's Game. Mike's Game. Mike's Game of the Week. It's Mike's Game of the Week. Game of the Week. It's Mike's Game of the Week. Mike's Game of the Week. Yeah. All right, Mike's Game of the Week this week was Rebel Scum versus Team Rodgelock 72 over in the Columbia River League. After scoring 214.75 points in Week 1, Rebel Scum headed into this match as a heavy favorite. Lackluster performances from the RB core, as well as wide receiver Jamar Chase's totals being down due to the Burrow injury, led to a match that came down to the wire on Monday night. Rebel Scum held just an 8.6 lead, with Rodgelock having Saints quarterback Derek Carr left to play. Carr managed 16.55 points in a so-so performance, but it was enough to clinch the victory for Team Rodgelock. Rebel Scum quarterback Justin Herbert managed 38.55 points. Unfortunately, he threw 2 touchdowns to Rodgelock receiver Keenan Allen, offsetting an otherwise decent performance. Both teams in this match moved to 1-1 on the season. Next up for Rebel Scum will be the defending champions generic football team. Rodgelock 72 will see action against Garbage Time. Our next matchup, Garbage Time versus Killa MC. Kirk Cousins proved once again why he has always been a way better fantasy quarterback than an actual quarterback, as he scores 52 points to help lift Garbage Time over an Ecklerless Killa MC club that only managed to put up 169.95 and post the weekly low score. Other highlights for Garbage Time include 34.2 points from waiver wire darling Puka Nacua and 27.3 points from CMAC. Both teams in this matchup move to 1-1, as Garbage Time manages the victory over Killa MC 199.6 to 169.95. Week 3 will see Garbage Time battling Team Rajlock and Killa MC hoping to bounce back against Stars and Stripes. Next up is Generic Football Team versus the Art of Dual Threat. The Art of Dual Threat trails the league in efficiency, managing an average of just 76.6% of their maximum possible points through Week 2. A great effort by Josh Allen with 44.1 points was not enough to lift them over a red-hot Generic Football Team who hopes to stay hot despite a possible nagging injury to quarterback Joseph Burrow. Helping that effort was Danny Dimes, who, in a monumental comeback, managed 50.6 points. The Giants' defense, however, was atrocious, managing only 2.9 points. Luckily for the GFT, the Art of Dual Threat had that unit. Final score here was Generic Football Team 237.35, the Art of Dual Threat 180.6. The GFT faces off against Rebel Scum next week. The Art of Dual Threat hopes to deal their first loss to Team Sweet Nuts. Our penultimate matchup this week in Columbia River is Short Bus Superstars versus Team Sweet Nuts. Quarterback Russell Wilson and Pat Mahomes combined for 83.25 points for Team Sweet Nuts, a whopping 41% of their final Week 2 total. Team Sweet Nuts leads the league in average efficiency, managing to capture just over 97% of their maximum possible points. Good decision-making will be key for Sweet Nuts moving forward if they hope to remain undefeated after losing Nick Chubb to the season due to a horrific knee injury. The Short Bus Superstars are living up to their name as they have managed a league-low 308.85 points through 2 weeks. The SS, as they like to be called, will need a stronger effort from their RB core, who managed just 8.3 points combined this week, if they hope to put a mark in the win column soon. Sweet Nuts defeats the SS 202.8 to 186.4. Sweet Nuts hopes to remain undefeated in Week 3 versus the Art of Dual Threat, while the SS hopes to invade Team Corey Cash. Our final matchup here in Columbia River is Stars and Stripes versus Corey Cash. Injuries are the buzzword for Team Corey Cash, as Week 1 saw the loss of starting running back J.K. Dobbins, while Week 2 saw the loss of Aaron Jones and a possible short-term loss of QB Anthony Richardson. Bright spots for Corey Cash include the Steelers' defensive unit that managed 43.3 points, and Lamar Jackson, who put up 39.9. Stars and Stripes waited until Monday evening to make the decision to bench Amari Cooper in favor of David Njoku. And as the rules of fantasy football dictate, the closer to starting time you swap a player, the more likely they are to have a good game. Cooper puts up 18.2 points, while Njoku scores a meager 6.75. It would not really have made a difference here, though, as Stars and Stripes' maximum possible point total was just 209.25, still well short of the 230.45 put up by Corey Cash. In Week 3, Stars and Stripes will see action against Killa MC, while Corey Cash battles the SS. That will do it for Columbia River Fantasy Football. Stay tuned for Outcast League updates after these messages from our sponsors.
Would you like the rest of my sandwich?
I'm not homeless! Hey, come on, grab your stuff. I got us a place to play.
What is it?
Oh, I don't know. It's a place called Dante's or something. And they've only allowed us to do one song, so we gotta make it a good one. Come on.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. Don't get that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings. Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the butter spread. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the butter spread. To get your butter spread all on me. I don't like the way it mixes with my mac and cheese. Cause when you're at KFC, you got that special sauce to stir my curiosity. Just give me a 5-piece meal Oh, what a deal. A big old box, it's all for me. You know I'll take coleslaw on the side. I could tell you wanted to try the potato wedges. Taste the biscuit, taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce, taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. Get your honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it mixes with my chicken wings. Get none of that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes on my chicken wings. Take us out, Moose.
Taste the biscuit.
Bok, 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 bockity bok. Bok, 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 bockity bok. Bok, bok, bockity bok. Bok, bok, bok. Kool-Aid and egg. Hey everybody, it's me, Bocky. I sure am glad to be back here this season to let you know, Kool-Aid and egg. Now I know you probably weren't as scared as I was at that last advertisement, but don't worry, we'll get past it. So let's start off. Rebel Scum owner Eric started Cortland Sutton instead of Nico Collins, costing himself 18 points and the win. Eric laid an egg. Marcus started Dalvin Cook, who managed only 1/10 of a point. Plugging DeAndre Swift into that spot would have netted him an additional 34.7 points in the win. Marcus laid an egg. Connor moved Trevor Lawrence to the starting quarterback slot on the fantasy football team, leaving Kirk Cousins and the win on the bench. Connor laid an egg. That's going to do it for me this week, folks. Good luck to everybody but Randy and Tim in week 3. Bok, 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 bockity bok. Bok, 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 bockity bok. Bok, bok, bockity bok. Bok, bok, bok. Who laid an egg?
All right. Thank you once again to our sponsors and to Bockety for the Who Laid an Egg segment. That's going to move us into the Outcast League, and the Outcast League, in stark contrast to Columbia River Fantasy Football, has only 2 teams at the 1-1 mark, with 4 at 2-0 and another 4 at 0-2. The weekly contest this week for Outcast was Century, with Team Sesh scoring the win in a 100.35 point effort. This victory comes at the cost of Nick Chubb, though, and I am certain that Team Sesh would rather have the RB for the remainder of the season. The Week 3 contest in Outcast will be highest scoring bench player. On to the games. Our first matchup this week is Rebel Scum versus Stars and Stripes. Geno Smith seems to be the lone bright spot on the Rebel Scum roster as he managed nearly 32% of all of Rebel Scum's scoring. Stars and Stripes, on the other hand, spread the points out and managed a convincing victory, 129.65 to 95.7. Rebel Scum moves to 0-2 on the season, while Stars and Stripes evens up at 1-1. Week 3 will see Rebel Scum taking on Timinators, while Stars and Stripes will challenge Randall Access Memories. Speaking of Timinators, next up is Timinators versus Show Me Your Kittles. Timinators is off to a rough start, leaving 83.6 points on the bench for a league-low 67% efficiency rating through the first 2 weeks. On the other side, Show Me Your Kittles has a league-leading 93% efficiency rate, with only 20.3 points left on their bench. Leading the scoring for the Kittles this week was quarterback Justin Herbert with 29.25 points. Many of those scored, as mentioned previously, with throws to Keenan Allen, also on Kittles' roster. Over on the Timinators side, Joe Burrow was the bright spot with 21.6 points. The win moves the Kittles to 2-0, while Timinators drop to 0-2. Show Me Your Kittles will take on Team Sesh in Week 3, while Timinators will battle Rebel Scum. Moving on to our next match is Randall Access Memories versus the Ballhawks. The Ballhawks pull out a victory here in Week 2 despite a 68% efficiency rating for the week, thanks in large part to Randall Access Memories laying a goose egg with Darnell Mooney. The Ballhawks somehow manage to move to 2-0 on the season, while RAM drops to 0-2. The Ballhawks will square off with Saints for Life in Week 3. Ram will take on Stars and Stripes. Next up, Team Sesh versus the Fantasy Football Team. As Bakady said earlier, if the Fantasy Football Team chooses Kirk Cousins over Trevor Lawrence, this match goes the other way. As it stood, the Fantasy Football Team had a league-low 65% efficiency rating in Week 3, leaving 46.7 points on the bench. Team Sesh, with a 90% efficiency rating for the season, left only 26.4 points unscored and pulls off the victory here, while also losing starting running back Nick Chubb due to a season-ending knee injury that was so horrific the ESPN crew refused to show the replay. Team Sesh wins it 100.35 to 86. Next up for Team Sesh is Show Me Your Kittles. The Fantasy Football Team will travel to the Mongo Dome to take on Mongo Mentality. Our final matchup here in Week 3 for Outcast was Saints for Life versus Mongo Mentality. In the highest scoring matchup of the week, Mongo Mentality puts up 139.15 points against the defending champion Saints for Life in a rematch of last season's championship game. After picking up wide receiver Puka Nacua off of waivers, Saints for Life chose to leave him and his 22.6 points on the bench. Additionally, the defending champions started Seattle kicker Jason Myers, who missed 2 field goals on Sunday. Mongo Mentality can boast the league's third highest season efficiency rating, scoring 87% of their maximum possible points. Making the bold decision to start Daniel Jones over Lamar Jackson helped propel Mongo to victory this week. 139.15 to 111.35. That will do it for the Outcast League this week. However, here is a new segment, Waiver World.
It's Waiver World. It's Waiver World. It's pickup time. It's excellent. It's Waiver World. It's Waiver World. It's pickup time. It's excellent.
All right, Waiver World. Welcome to Waiver World, an excellent new segment detailing Wednesday's waiver wire acquisitions. In the Columbia River League, Eric picked up Kyron Williams with a $21 bid, beating out the Art of Dual Threat, Garbage Time, and the Generic Football Team. Rebel Scum also picked up Sam Howell with a $5 bid, beating out Killa MC, and as well as Marvin Mims with no other bids. The Art of Dual Threat picked up Jerome Ford with a $20 bid, beating out Corey Cash, Garbage Time, the SS, and Killa MC. They also placed successful bids for Jacoby Myers and the Jaguars defensive unit. Corey Cash grabbed Tank Dell with a $15 bid, beating out the Art of Dual Threat. Sweet Nuts was able to procure the services of Zach Moss for $1 with no other bids. And finally, Garbage Time grabs the Seahawks defense back after dropping them last week, beating Killa MC and the Art of Dual Threat. Garbage Time also grabs Adam Thielen. In Outcast, Randall Access Memories grabbed Josh Reynolds on an $882,000 one-year deal, and the Fantasy Football Team signed Matt Breida to a one-year deal for $3.08 million, beating out at least one other person. Wonder who that could have been. Though I do not have names, as the RSO platform does not have quite as much info available as Sleeper does. That will do it for Waiver World and the Fantasy Football News for this week. Thank you all for tuning in for the Week 3 Fantasy Football News. Last season, as a reminder, I had hosted several Thursday night football parties, and I believe that was a good time had by all that attended. With my schedule change this year, I'm going to be hosting a few Sunday night football parties. I had originally planned on the first one being Chiefs-Jets on October 1st, but with the loss of Aaron Rodgers, I believe I'm going to push it back to October 8th, and that may get pushed again. I've got something happening on the 8th that may ruin those plans, but we will see how it goes. I will get back to you with more information on that as it becomes available. However, that matchup would be the Cowboys-Niners, and I hope that it will be a much better matchup than the Chiefs-Jets now that Rodgers is out. You can DM either myself or Mike Frazier for details on how to get here, or if you would like to bring anything. I will be cooking burgers for that game. And so, some chips or whatever would be greatly appreciated. But that's going to do it for Week 2. Have a great week, everybody but Randy and Tim. And remember, here at Fantasy Football News, we're better than you.